This video is going to be a quick breakdown of yesterday's trade, Wednesday the 15th of July. I'm going to go straight into it, trying to make my videos as short as possible. I got to the chart late, maybe like 30-40 minutes into New York session already. I've opened up the daily and I could see that yesterday, yes, the candle closed bullish. However, it wasn't really an indication of a bullish daily candle. Still has a long top wick. So it's kind of indicating weak support, but it's indicating a lot of buy pressures there, but not that much for it to close as a strong bullish candle. However, there was a lot of little details on the lower time frames and on the higher time frames as well that showed why potentially taking buys on Wednesday the 15th and taking buys on Wednesday the 14th. Obviously on the 14th it played out was good, and why it may play out on the 15th. So then I've looked at the current daily candle yesterday and I've seen that it's made a nice bottom wick, rejected off the 40-40, and now it's starting to push up towards the 40-64, 63 area. Now I've dropped down to my 4 hour and I see what information is the 4 hour giving me to support buys, and I see London candle, yes, it closed bearish. However, this candle is indicating to me rejection towards sell pressure. It's rejected that 40.23 and the 40.20 key level. Around there, it's closed very weak bearish, and this is an indication to me of not actually sell pressure but buy pressure. This is a support for me. And now I've looked at the current 4 hour, and the current 4 hour is a nice strong bullish 4 hour candle coming up to that 40.63 area. Now I've dropped down to my 1 hour, see if there's any information where could I enter into a trade, and that 40.63 is standing out to me, with the 40.65 and the 40.70 being resistant points and targets. So I'll quickly go down to the 30 minutes, see if I'm seeing the same picture across the time frames, and I was. So there is a lot of volume, and I tend to like to enter on the 15 minute, but at high volume times I enter on the 5 minute. I'm looking at the 15 minute. The 15 minute is about to close. Bang, quite strong above some resistant areas for sales, closing above the 40.60 key level. So essentially I've just waited for a little bit to get that close above 40.63 on my 5 minute. I've got the 5 minute close above the 40.63. I waited for it to break the 2 previous candles wick. Once that high has been cleared, that's when I then entered into my position. I've entered into my position, 40.70 being my first target, where I was 100% going to take some of my position off. At this point, I've shaved off around 75%. I've just had 25% running because that was a strong area of rejection for me. And I've left it running. I believe the trade, I've maybe closed some at around just under 40.74, around the 40.73. I've closed the extra 10% of the position. Now, when I have seen not this current bearish candle on this 5 minute chart that should be showing, but the previous one, when that resistance candle printed and closed, that indicated to me sell buy pressure is potentially slowing down. But what made me decide it is slowing down and close that remaining 15% of my trade was it closed below the 40.70 key level, which was my original strong area of resistance. So that indicated to me, close the rest of the position, secure the profits, and call it a day. And that's essentially what happened yesterday.